Hey guys, welcome to another Happily Letter After tutorial. I hope you've been practicing your banners and flowers and your hand lettering. If not, you can head over onto the blog and I have free practice sheets for you. But this is the piece we're going to make today, and I'm going to show you how to add all these together, and we're going to put a little bit of depth in it. And if you're old school and you want to follow along on paper, that is fine too. You just won't be able to do some of the fancy stuff with the shadows that we do in here and the masking, but you can draw with pencil first and then erase and do the old-fashioned way, which is perfectly fine. But if you have Procreate, this will be fun. I'm using my hand lettering set, so if you do not have that brush set, you can pick that up on the blog as well, or you can use some of the free brushes that are in the freebies if you're an email subscriber. So this is what our finished piece is going to look like, and I have the color palette provided for you, so you can grab that as well. And you're going to need that for this piece, or if you want to use your own colors, that's fine too. So to save some time, what I did was I have everything on a sketch layer, so I sketched everything out for us and where I wanted things to be, and I recommend doing that. It makes things easier for you, and I put things on different layers in my sketch. So I have the flowers on a layer, I have the word faith in a layer, and then I've got the banner with over fear on a different layer. That way if I need to move things around, center things, I could do that. So I went ahead and I already did that part for us. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to start a new layer. So get out of your sketch, add a new layer, and we're going to start with our banner. That's the first thing we're going to do, okay? So we're going to grab this light color down here. It's like a beige color. And you want to make sure you've got your medium round monoline brush selected. And then, I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but I have the sketch here, and you're going to want to go back over your sketch, and we're going to do the main part where the lettering is. So just go ahead and trace over it. And 2-finger tap if you mess up and you want to redo. I wasn't really fond of how that turned out. Oop. Sorry guys, it's a little humid here in Texas. It's not summer, but it feels like it, so there's a lot of moisture in here, and one of my ACs broke. So then to fill it in, you can go and grab the color from the circle and drop it right in. Oops, I'm not sure why it changed colors. All right, there we go. And then for the shadow part on this fold in the banner, use the color, the darker beige color, and go ahead and do the same thing. You're going to trace over. And you're going to drop in the color. And then what I like to do, and this, I get usually a little more detailed with this, but this is just for beginners, so I'm doing a real simple drawing for you. Usually I do a little bit more shading if you've seen some of my pieces that are on Instagram, but this is just a simple thing, and feel free to get crazy and detailed with it. I'm going to grab the small monoline, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so I can see better. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an outline right here on this edge. That way when we fill it in with color, is we're going to do the same color as this main part, and we don't want it to blend in too much. It's going to look kind of weird. So we want to show the different parts there. All right, so now you can go back and grab your light color again, and and trace over. And it's okay if it's not perfect. You can always modify. That's the beauty of a sketch, is it doesn't have to be the exact same thing as what you originally sketched. You can always alter it, especially since this is a really rough sketch that I did. All right, and then drop in your color. Okay, so now we have our banner. And I like to organize my layers, so I'm going to rename this banner, just so we know. And I'm going to add another layer on top. I'm going to turn off this layer by unchecking the box so we can see the word over fear, or the words over fear. And I'm going to grab this dark red color. I'm going to make sure I have the medium round monoline selected. And now I'm just going to write in the words over fear. And if you hold the circle, I don't know if you remember from another video I did where if you make a circle and you just hold it, you can make a perfect circle, perfectly round. Hold a finger down and now it's a perfect circle. Draw a line, hold it, now you've got a straight line and you can put it wherever you want it to with those points. All right, and now we're going to letter fear. And if you don't feel comfortable writing, your letters out, you can always add in text, and you can manipulate it too if you want it like on this curve. And maybe in another video I will show you how to do that, but for now I'm just writing it in. But you can always use a font if you have a font in mind that you want to use. Okay, so now we have that written down. We can turn our banner back on. And we're going to label this over fear. And we're going to add another layer. And we can go ahead and label this one, we're going to name this one Faith. We're going to keep that red color. And I'm going to use my script brush. And we're going to letter the word Faith. And feel free to do this in any style you want. I did a little bit of bounce lettering to it. And you don't have to do with a calligraphy brush. You can practice your faux calligraphy if you want to. And that's in a previous video I've done as well. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I don't like it overlapped. It doesn't look good. It looks kind of weird. We don't like that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this behind the banner. It still doesn't look fun like I want it to. So here's what we're gonna do. Click on Faith, and then you're gonna wanna click Select. Down here on this menu, click Invert. Make sure you deselect, and now go to your banner and do Mask. Oops, hang on, I may have told you that wrong, I'm sorry. Back to Faith, do Select, Invert, keep it selected, sorry. Press Banner, press Mask. Now we can deselect. Okay, now it put it back over this. So what we're gonna do, if you know anything about masking, white reveals and black conceals. So we're gonna grab our brush, and we've got it on white right now. I'm going to make this the large monoline. And if you double tap down here, you can get black. Oops. There we go. We want the white, sorry. I'm actually going to use my extra large monoline. And see, if you color, it'll only take it to the edge. You could, there's many different ways you can do this. This is just the easiest, and I actually just found this out, so I'm sorry, bear with me that I pressed the wrong one. But yeah, it's a really awesome shortcut, and look how easy that was. Now you have some overlapping details, and that's really fun and awesome. Okay, so we got that done. Now let's do our flowers. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add another layer, and we're gonna do the stems first. So you can go ahead and label this one stems. And let's grab this green right here, not the turquoise, but the green. Grab your medium brush. And like I said, I don't know if you can see my sketch that I have under here, but these are the flowers that I had in my flower tutorial. So if you haven't done that yet, you can still grab those practice sheets and practice drawing this before we do this, but they're super easy. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and draw your stems. And your leaves. And again, I'm not getting too fancy with, I'm not gonna be too fancy with shadows on each of the stems and leaves. That's something I can do in a later video for you, but this is just easy basics, just to give you an idea. And again, feel free to have your own creative freedom. That's always a plus. I'd love to see what you come up with. But for learning purposes, we're just gonna go easy. I'm gonna actually move this sleeve up. There we go. Okay, so now we have our stems. And we want to do the same thing where it's behind the banner. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this back. And I kind of like it over Faith a little bit because then it shows more overlap. So we're going to do the same thing we did for the Faith and the banner. And we're going to go ahead and select it, invert it, go back to your banner, and click mask. Which it actually won't let me do. So here's the other option. You can do the banner and you can do select and mask. And now let's bring back all of that stuff that we want. All our stems, let's bring those back. Make sure you have the right color selected too. That's very helpful. Sorry guys, it's been crazy. All right, so we got them back and we want to get rid of the one on the banner. So go to your black and zoom in close so you can kind of see. I'm gonna grab a smaller brush. Get it right to the edge. That way it looks like it's in the fold of the banner there. Okay. All right, so we got that part done. Now let's go back up to the top here and add another layer. It's okay, it doesn't have to be over here, it could be over this, but it doesn't matter. So we're gonna draw our flowers in. So let's do our purple flowers first. So grab this dark purple. I'm gonna try the large brush, see how that looks. That looks good. Do random dots. And while we're on the purple brush, let's do it on the other side as well. Let's grab the lighter purple, just so we add some visual interest, make it look a little more three-dimensional in the color pop, fill in those little white spaces so it doesn't look like they're just floating there. Okay, so that flower's done. And now let's do our tulip. And let's grab this, we'll grab the light pink first. And again, these are just simple, quick flowers. I'm not doing too much detail right now, just so I can show you the basics. Okay, to do the petals in the back of this flower, you're going to want to add another layer. And we're going to put underneath these flowers, we'll grab this darker pink and draw kind of a heart shape. And if you're kind of nervous about it connecting, because it has to connect, otherwise it's not going to fill it in, and it'll fill in the entire page, what you can do is you can turn off your top layer just to make sure, and that's filled. So go ahead and drag your color in and do the same thing over here. Now you can keep these on separate layers. I am going to merge mine together because I'm not going to need to do anything else with it. If you were going to add even more depth, you could put a shadow in between the back petals and the front petals, and it's super easy to do. I'm going to show you how to do shadows after we get these flowers filled in, and then you can have fun and do whatever you'd like. So we're going to do this blue right here. It's next to that purple, that dark purple color. And we're gonna do these pretty flowers here. I'm actually gonna grab a little bit of a smaller brush for the details on this one. I'll do the medium brush. So this one you just kind of draw an upside down bell with a little curve. And fill it in. Now let's get to the other side. Flowers are super fun to draw, and they're not too hard either. And you can make up your own too. You don't have to go by flowers you actually see. But right now we've got a lot of really pretty wildflowers blooming. I'm gonna delete, or I'm not gonna delete, I'm gonna turn off our sketch layer because we don't need that anymore. We're gonna wanna add a background color. So you can add a new layer, drag it all the way underneath, and we're gonna use this light teal color. And you're gonna go ahead, drag that in. Now you've got your background. And as you can see, it's kind of blah, and things kind of blend in a little bit, especially the banner. It's not really popping, so we're gonna add some depth to it. So what you're gonna wanna do is grab everything above your background, all these other layers that you did, swipe to the left, oops, not these. Sorry, I accidentally grabbed mine from earlier. All right, so grab all these layers you just did, and group them, and you can close that. Now what you're gonna wanna do, duplicate that group, turn off your bottom one. This is your reference. You never wanna mess with your original in case you decide you don't like it and you want to go back and do something over again. You don't want to have to redraw everything. So I always recommend doing this. So what we're going to want to do with this new group we made is we want to put our flowers together and not group them separately. Sorry guys, sometimes it's temperamental. Okay, so we're gonna do over here, let's move this over here, and I'm gonna combine this with our banner because we don't need to move anything in here, everything's fine. And I think I'm gonna leave Faith the way it is. Go ahead and merge the flowers and the stems. And now what we're gonna do, we'll start with the word Faith. So go ahead and duplicate it, swipe towards your left, hit duplicate. And now on this top layer, which you can do, we're gonna grab this dark teal right here. And you can use whatever color, if you really want a dramatic shadow, you can use black. I'm just gonna use this because we have got the light teal in the background. Now we're gonna drag this layer, click and hold, drag it underneath the red, and pinch out just a little bit, click your arrow, and tap your finger down to the bottom right. Go to the magic wand tool, hit Gaussian blur, and let's make that shadow. I'm at about 5.5%. I think that looks pretty good. It's still dark enough where you can see it, but it's not too dark, not too light. And if you always, if you want it a little bit lighter, you can even go in, click the N here, and you can change your opacity. But I'm gonna leave it at 100%. All right, and we're gonna do the same thing for the other layers. So your banner, duplicate it. This one though, because it's got multiple colors, what you're gonna wanna do with the top layer here, click Alpha Lock. We still have that color selected. Go to your extra large monoline brush and color the entire thing. Drag it underneath your banner. Click the arrow again. Do a couple taps down to your bottom right. And then click off, and let's go back to our magic wand. Gaussian blur, slide to the right. And this one, oh, I'm sorry, I missed a step. Go back to your banner, the shadow banner that you have there. Undo the alpha lock first. Sorry about that. All right, so now go back, do your Gaussian blur. This one I'm gonna do a little bit more. So I've got this one at about 7.3 for the blur. I know, the blurs are overlapping. We'll fix that at the end, I promise. Okay, so now for the stems, go ahead and duplicate. And again, you're gonna want to alpha lock, and we'll color it in. It's easier when you have a solid color like the word Faith. You could just drag and drop the color. That makes life so much easier, but coloring's fun too though. Now don't forget, like I did in that other step, to undo the alpha lock and go ahead and tap it a little bit. And these ones I'm not going to tap out as far. I want them to be a little bit closer to the banner. So go ahead, go back to your Gaussian blur. This one I'm also going to do at like about 5.5%. Okay. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to be on the shadow layers, and we're going to erase the shadows we do not want. There's a lot of them that are on Faith that we do not want. So let's start with their banner. Go to your eraser. I have the medium round selected. And see this, we don't want all of this on here. We want just a little bit. So get rid of right here. And actually, to get you get this edge right here, in your erasers, go to, it's actually a brush that comes with it. Get the soft airbrush. Make sure it's not too big. I think mine's at about 2%. And then just softly, see, then it fades a little bit so it looks more natural. So we want that. All right, and I'm gonna go back to my lettering brushes and, oh, don't want the large. Oh, I'm gonna get the medium again, medium eraser. And just erase on the red. This one's okay right here. We can leave that. Okay, that shadow should be fine. But we got some shadows from the stems on the top. So what you're gonna wanna do is go into your stems, the stem shadows, I should say, and go ahead along the edge. Make sure you don't get the part that's supposed to be there. There. Much, much better. All right. And that's all there is to making shadows and making it a little more three-dimensional. Obviously, I've got a couple of spots in here that need to be cleaned up, like that little edge, and I forgot some of the stem, but have fun with this. This is an easy project. It's good for beginners. It's good practice, and grab those practice sheets if you haven't already, and grab the free color palette for this, and I can't wait to see what you do. Have a great day.